But yeah, I figured let's just real quick run down the card, kind of what we thought about each match. So pre-show happened, and I'll admit I didn't watch the pre-show, but the pre-show match was the tag team #1 contenders match: Legado del Fantasma versus Breezango versus Lorcan and Birch, and Breezango picked up the victory, and we all got 0 points.
I told myself it's gonna be a
like pro wrestling pundits that we are, the first match of the night, none of
way
us
off.
got it.
I told myself we're gonna have a long night if this is how things are gonna go.
Right.
Well,
we weren't really way off because the reasons that you and I, James, right, we picked Lorcan and Birch were because of Imperium, because they're the bad guys, and we need a good guy team. So we expected one of the two teams to win it.
I just didn't expect to be
the one we didn't pick.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't expect to do Breezango because I think I already did that.
Right.
But then again, we should have thought about it. I thought Lorcan and Birch would probably make a better matchup, wrestling-wise.
They're hard-hitting.
Oh, yeah.
They will have a good match. Yeah, they're hard-hitting. With both of them, I thought it would be a good match. Nothing against Breezango. I like both of those guys. Both of those guys can work. Kind of comedy, kind of goofy characters. They came out the Mounties one time. So I was thinking
they're more
not
serious in their
you would think
NXT run now.
Yeah. So I thought they're doing a little bit of that. So I didn't think it like that. If I had thought to think about it, that probably would make more sense. Just the Ultra baby faces when he gets the Ultra, just go to something like that.
So
the logic was there, but it was just the wrong team.
So I'd say folks just bear with us a little bit. James is having a little connection issues, so I do apologize for that.
No worries.
It's just happening.
But yeah, I will say as far as this first match went, I will say, like you guys were pretty much on the money about the basic logic of, the champs are heels, so of course you're gonna have a couple faces. Plus, I realized with Breezango winning this, I think it's I kind of feel like it's one of those things where you can kind of tell maybe how that potential title match goes, because obviously you have Breezango feuding with Legado.
I mean, I don't think they win.
I don't think they win either, but I'm also saying I kind of think Legado gets involved in that. Because they are feuding. That'd be.
That makes sense. Yeah, and then you can put the title on the new tag team without like having heel versus heel that no one cares about.
Or you can have as they're doing
no, I get
official Undisputed Era.
Yeah. Either or.
Imperium, because they can finish
up
the
we'll
Imperium.
See what happened with them.
Because they have the Imperium rival with Undisputed Era is on hold right now because so they haven't finished that feud yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess so. All right, so I mean, we don't want to spend much time in the pre-show match. It's just the pre-show match. But the first match of the night was my guy here, Finn Balor, against Timothy Thatcher. We did not all pick Balor, but Balor, of course, did win because, of course, he did. Because he's Finn Balor, and that's just kind of how it goes. No, I get why you were taking it, but I mean, anyway, in terms of the match, it was pretty good.
Match. It was a good match. I thought I love the.
There's nothing really stood out to me like as particularly phenomenal, and I think it suffered. They should have opened with the North American Championship, I think, instead of opening with this match.
Probably would have.
Because that's the match that was hard hitting, and we'll get to that one in a second. But yeah, Finn Balor takes even though Tim Thatcher needed the win more, just because
that's what my thought was. Thatcher.
Yeah, and exactly, he needed the win more.
I thought Thatcher would win because he needed that more. Balor doesn't need it. Balor is.
I guess
right
now
just hitting
knowing the results of the main event, now we have Balor positioned as the #1 contender.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so we'll get to that. We'll discuss that. But yeah, Balor wins, and I thought Thatcher would win. That would make more sense. But it is what it is, and it doesn't take away from Thatcher. Though, honest with you, it doesn't take that much away. Being that he went toe to toe with Finn Balor, and
I mean they just put over Damian,
but he
just who went with Balor last time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't think it hurts him.
I'm gutted my guy Grimes didn't win. And there was that great 6th spot where Bronson Reed splashed off the ladder with Candace on his back onto Johnny, and I thought
we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
too.
but yeah,
that looked great. I saw that too.
We're not even on that match yet.
But yeah,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, I honestly.
I mean, Alex, do you have anything to say before we talk?
Yeah,
about
no, I was just gonna say I quite enjoyed it overall. Like I enjoyed the Clash of Styles in particular. Like you got a little bit of high flying and from Balor, but you got quite a bit of that, that Thatch as Thatch can, as Thatcher likes to put it. And I thought it was a good Clash of Styles, and overall it was a good match.
Well, Balor's actually a decent.
Oh yeah.
wrestler.
Oh yeah, and you saw some shades of that there as well. That's what I think I like. I like when you kind of see that stuff get pulled out. It's good stuff.
Awesome. So, 1 up for Alex and I, nothing for James so far. But we're gonna go to the North American title match, 5-way ladder match. Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, and the Velveteen Dream. I won't be sure who win, but I didn't pick him either, so that's fine. I just mentioned.
I do like Bronson Reed looking a little like Bam Bam Bigelow with the fire and stuff. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Kind of like a tribute. Looks like a tribute to Bam Bam because he had that fire on the side. I mean, it was like Bam Bam's almost version of Bam Bam's suit. I like that. I was like, hey, he looked like Bam Bam. What's going on there?
I was a little worried about this match because there was a lot of big guys in this match, which really bodes not well for the ladder match, but it worked. Bronson Reed flew, like I mentioned, the spot. He had Candice on his back, and he went and slammed on Johnny Gargano.
That looked great. It looked fantastic. It was just perfectly set up with the camera work, and you could see it look up, and she's on his back, and it's just like, ooh, you see this big monster coming down from the sky. It's just like,
honestly,
I'm disappointed that my guy Cameron Grimes did not win. I thought, man, this is the perfect way to set him up, but they went with the obvious choice, Damian Priest, which I thought was a clear on favorite anyway. Yeah, you got the point. I thought he was the favorite anyway, but sometimes favorites don't win.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I think they went with Priest is because Priest has been like a tweener. He can go face. Well, I like it because
he's put him in that role.
He can be a face, or he can be a badass face or a badass heel.
Yeah.
It depends on who he's facing.
I mean, he's been around a while.
Badass persona.
I think he's been on NXT over a year at this point, right? So I think he came in just after WrestleMania last year.
I came around the same time as Dijak.
Because he came in right before they did the newcomers tournament, where like Bronson Reed came in and Dexter Lumis came in, and Smiley guy who got fired came in. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, he was there.
Priest was before that because he wasn't part of the newcomers tournament. So he's been in NXT for over a year at this point. So I think it was kind of a long time coming.
He came from Ring of Honor, so he already has the polish on.
So I get it.
Yeah.
Because he's from Ring of Honor. Yeah,
honestly, he's a character you could probably throw up on Smackdown or Raw, but he's
North American
champion.
Yeah, I think he's North American champion. I think they might keep him there for maybe 6 months and everything. Maybe have him run at the title, or if not,
he's got that main roster.
He can go main roster.
But he's going to be an NXT for a while because now he's North American champion. Alex, what do you think? Any spots stand out to you?
Honestly, I think that main one with the main one with Candice and Reed. Right onto the Gargano. That was a trip. I was telling someone, I was like, this is how you get someone that's like a manager or just not a competitor to get involved, because I still think back to that time that you had somebody just climb up the ladder and grab the briefcase for somebody. That one match, I'm like, yeah, let's not ever have something like that again, please. So, but having the way that they had Candice involved in that, I thought was really good. And that spot, just watching Candice trying to get involved, and Reed's just like, oh, okay.
I mean, she got involved a couple times.
Oh no, I know.
She pushed.
That was
she pushed up Velveteen Dream and Cameron Grimes.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying that was like the peak of it. Was like she got involved and finally she was like, okay.
Because that was the end of Bronson Reed and Johnny Gargano, and then.
I do like Velveteen Dream had a great face when the ladder's falling. He does have a great.
Yeah.
He had a great face.
So yeah.
The one thing I was missing, and I was so mad watching it, is there was a spot where Cameron Grimes was like halfway up the ladder, and Johnny Gargano was stunned, and I'm like, man, do the cave-in from the top of the ladder, and it just didn't happen. I'm very disappointed.
Who did the power driver? off the ladder. God, I can't remember now.
I don't remember offhand.
I watched. I can't remember. Somebody did.
Well, there was
off,
another
off
spot stands to me, and it's actually Bronson Reed. So I really think Bronson Reed really shined
Oh,
in
yeah.
this match. He had all 4 of his opponents in like 3 ladders in the turnbuckle, and then he just started splashing them, and I'm like, that is great. But yeah, the cave-in spot that I wanted to have, it didn't happen. Like, I got my friends who were like not wrestling, like, come on, watch this. I think Cameron Grimes gonna do this awesome move, and then it didn't happen.
Oh yeah, when he off the ladder stomped. That's a missed opportunity.
But he didn't actually do it. He missed.
Yeah.
He didn't even jump.
I think the reason why is because Ballard already did something like that earlier. He probably didn't want to redo something like that.
I know.
And it looks similar to Ballard. Yeah, so they probably didn't want to repeat something like that.
But yeah.
So what was the next one after that? I think we had
next the
Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee.
Cole versus Pat McAfee.
The match that none of us were really like.
Of course.
We all had our doubts about this one coming in.
What? Oh my gosh, Pat.
No,
McAfee
I knew McAfee was going to go. Yeah, I knew he was going to.
Well, I mean. Well, I should probably say.
Well,
I should say I had almost 0 expectations for the match. I just didn't really care about the feud.
Right? Having no expectations.
Yeah, that helped.
I figured it was going to be a brawl, and then they actually had a wrestling.
I was like, oh, okay.
I actually knew he was going to make himself He's going to make himself a good accounting on himself because he's already trained under Rip Rogers. He has been training for a while. He's trained to do in-ring work and everything. And so I knew that was going to happen. The problem I have with this is flipped. It doesn't make sense. It's what normally should be the way is the wrestler should be the heel and McAfee should be the baby face. The former football player getting over his head, coming showing himself. That's how you would normally do this.
I don't think so. I mean, because he's... No, I mean, if there was live crowds, though, McAfee would be booed. Like, they're leaning into it. It's the same thing with Dominic. It's if you're not a wrestler, the crowd is going to reject you.
Well, no, it's how you sell it. It's how you sell it. If they had sold it as McAfee,
and they're planning for like the Thunderdome to be the norm soon. I think they made the right move making McAfee the heel because the fans were never.
He's good. He's actually good as a heel. He's actually
he's
really
good as a heel, but you could never do McAfee as a face because the fans would reject it.
You could have if you had done it. If you had to have Cole be the instigator of it. The thing is, they had McAfee.
It's like anyone else coming over from a different sport to pro wrestling. They have to prove themselves first. Like no one cheered for Ronda Rousey until after she had a great match. Right?
But I would have.
Even though they presented her as his face, she was booed out of the building.
Actually, they liked her.
WrestleMania.
The problem
until
with that
she had that great match with Stephanie and Triple H. Right. Once that happened, once she proved that she could actually wrestle, then the fans get behind her. Pat McAfee had to prove that. Now, if they want to make him face going down, that would be fine. But he had to be the heel. That was the right.
No, he didn't have to be. No, he didn't have to be. He had to be presented right. If Cole had come onto his show and started messing with him on the show, what's going on here and everything like that, then it'd been different. What they did was they flipped it when
really
Cole went on there. Yeah,
but here's the thing. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter because he is the heel. But either way, you're completely wrong.
But yeah, it could have been sold better like that.
Like I said, the feud going into it was. I still don't know how I felt about the feud going into it, but the match at least was good.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one criticism of the match is that he got way too close to winning, right? Because this is his first match. Adam Cole is one of the best in the world.
That could be, that's another thing. It was too competitive.
It was too close for him to win. Like if him kicking out near falls, that's great. Him getting Adam Cole to near falls though is too much. That was probably my one criticism.
I did like his. I did give him props though. He did do a plancha spot off the top rope.
He's got some powerful legs. I mean, he leaped up to the top rope.
Yeah, that's respect.
That's respect. Like if he starts being a full-time competitor,
that's his first technically his first televised match. Great first televised match.
Right.
He did fantastic.
Like,
but he's working with Adam Cole.
Full-time competitor, I think I'll buy it. You know.
Yeah, if he goes full-time,
or even part-time,
I have no problem with that.
Once in a while,
frankly,
on takeovers.
Oh yeah.
Every other show.
He can be a good heel manager. He can be a good heel manager in case he gets in the ring.
It seems like this is like he he wants to do now is he wants to be a wrestler. I think he could actually do it. Like,
yeah, I have no problem with him doing that if he wants.
All right.
Anyone else? And I'll give him props. He looks really
I'm good. Like I said, overall, for what the feud was, the match was at least good, and I can appreciate that. And I think we definitely got after this match, I can say, okay, you know what? If they actually start having Pat doing more matches, I don't even know what that looks like because they've never said, oh, he's suddenly a superstar. They've only just treated him as more as like a special guest.
Right, but he wrestled like a real wrestler. He didn't wrestle.
And the only thing about this, this is something that James and I talked about a little bit before we started, was the fact that he had actually trained, and one of the people he trained under was Rip Rogers. But the thing is, they didn't really. I don't recall them talking about that during the match. That's the only thing.
I mean, they talked about him getting in the best shape of his life.
Yeah, that's as far as they went. They didn't say, he actually trained.
Right. Well, they don't really ever tell you who.
Never emphasize that.
No. In WWE, they don't emphasize training.
Yeah, I don't even mean. I don't mean to say, that they trained under Rip Rogers. I just mean they didn't touch on the fact that he even trained at all. That's all. That goes to.
Yeah, they're selling it. They're selling it.
That just goes to what you were saying about.
I mean, you are presenting wrestling as a legitimate fight.
Well, no, my point was just the fact that it kind of goes to what you were saying, how close he was to winning for someone who as far as the casual fan that happened to watch this doesn't know that he trained. That's all. But anyways.
Yeah, that should have been. Yeah, that should have been.
But yeah, for what it was, like I said, for what it was a good match. So on that note, I think we're good to move on to the next.
Yeah, we're moving on. So our next match was
No worries. Okay, next one was the NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai defended.
So Io Shirai defended the title against Dakota Kai. She successfully defended it. So James and I picked up a point. Alex does not. And then we had a little post-match angle with Rhea Ripley and Reina Gonzalez, or Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I don't remember if she's Reina or Raquel, which is really bad. Because
I know they have to.
Names.
If I just start calling her Gonzalez.
You don't know that either. I just said it the other night.
Yeah, I know. You just start calling her Gonzalez.
I don't know what to call her at this point. I forgot.
Female Diesel.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know either. But the point is, Io Shirai won, which I think we kind of expected.
Right, I even expected it, even though I went the other way on the prediction.
I mean, you could have gotten a DQ win.
Yeah.
That would have been.
But yeah, it was what it was. But it was a.
But they are. But they're kind of setting up. I think they're setting up Gonzalez to maybe enter the feud. Proper.
Possibly.
Well, yeah. Well, they're getting her. It looks like they have her.
Between them with Ripley. Maybe they'll do a three-way and have her instead of Dakota. Who knows?
Maybe.
At least there's some intrigue in the women's division, which is something that NXT has struggled with.
Yeah.
They keep getting poached.
Well, it's not even that. They usually only build up a couple women at a time. And I remember after Asuka made the title, after Ember Moon was caught up, and there was that period where there was no women on the roster.
Yeah, because they were poaching them. I mean, Amber went up faster than she should have. Amber should stay down a little longer. They kept grabbing, pulling everyone up too soon before they can really build something. I thought she went up too soon. Myself, I thought she should have had a little bit more, but they pulled her up really because they need to fill up the women's roster, the main roster. So they
broke her character by not letting her beat Asuka.
That's the thing too. I think they were setting up for another rematch, and then Asuka got hurt, and they just pulled her up, and then just Asuka vacated, which really hurt. It really hurt Amber at the time. It should have been her beating her and taking it off, and then going from there.
Anyway,
but yeah, so that intrigue, I'm fine with that. So that leaves us the points wise. That leaves us what, three for me, 2 for you guys.
No, 3 for me, 2 for
Alex. Yeah, I think.
However, no, you only have 3.
No.
But we're gonna get to the last match, which is Keith Lee versus Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship, and Karrion Kross took it.
Like I said, that was
one where we were saying.
That's literally my revenge for you guys easily getting some of those other ones. I get the last laugh on that one apparently because Kross won it.
Well, yeah, that was again, as we were saying before on the prediction show. That was one where we had arguments on either side. So really, I'm not mad because I can see Kross winning. I'm fine with that because he could have then Keith, and it was a great match.
It was a good match.
I was watching. It was a great match.
Back and this is essentially his second title defense. Like he had a title. It's really his first title defense. I mean, he had a defense against Dominic Dijakovic, but he was never going to lose that match. So this is the first, match that he could have lost, and he did lose. So he's essentially 0 for 1 on title defenses.
But I don't think
no, because that's the thing, and especially from a few.
Because he could chase him.
And
I think it does hurt him.
And again, from a feud standpoint, this feud can continue without. It could be for the title still, but I just.
I
mean, continue.
But yeah, like it was just one of those things.
It also depends on if they want to move him. They might be moving.
It's probably.
He might be the one where they be moving him.
Yeah.
They might be trying to fast track him to the main roster already, so they're like,
probably
just drop it to Crawl.
I will say if one thing that I think might lend itself to that possibility is the appearance of Drew McIntyre. Like the fact that he was on like the pre-show talking about the match, or he was on the show talking about the match at one point, and they also did the video where they did a championship like sparring session or whatever. Like it might be a thing where he's already coming up to the main roster. We'll see what happens. But anyways, so we got to.
I mean, if he stays in NXT, this hurt him because there's nowhere for him to go now.
No, he go chase him.
I think Balor is essentially the number 1 contender now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
But yeah, I think they're moving Keith Lee up. That's I think.
But the Demon Balor versus Cross would be cool. Like if he actually gets the Demon
that would be cool.
I don't think he's bringing the Demon back.
So I mean, at this point, just to kind of wrap us up here, at this point, predictions we're 3 for 6, all of us. However, of course, we had 2 bonus matches we added from AEW Dynamite, so we didn't do all of Dynamite. We just did the 2 kind of championship matches. So.
I didn't watch Dynamite much, so I'm giving my excuses. I'm giving my excuse of why I didn't.
That's okay.
It doesn't matter.
That's fine. We're just gonna talk real quick about how those matches went, so that way we can discuss who's winning in the leaderboard right now.
Right. So
that's why I'm giving my excuses right now.
Right. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. We're not reacting to these ones. Well, at least we're not reacting to this one. So we had the women's tag tournament finals, which was one of the 2 quote-unquote title matches. We all picked the Nightmare Sisters, and we all lost because Diamante and Ivelisse won the tournament. So that's
thank
the thing.
God. Honest with you, I'll be honest with you. That's the right move.
It's the wrong move, but
in
that's
my eyes, those are the right.
It was a move, all right.
It's the right move. I knew because at the time I didn't know what happened, but at the end of the show, now I know what they're transitioning to. So I was like, okay, fine. But in the main event of Dynamite, Cody Rhodes defending the TNT Championship. What the heck? Stupid freaking match.
Must be that time. Must be that time of the year.
It's the genetic mosquitoes right there. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, TNT Championship, Cody Rhodes defending it against Mr. Brody Lee, and Mr. Brody Lee absolutely squashes Cody and takes the title, and afterward, Dark Order just kind of takes over the show. Fantastic ending. Alex and I both had Lee. We both get the points, so we're up 4-3 on James.
And so there's our leaderboard at the moment.
Dynamite. Watch happens. I smashed Survivor Series, the SummerSlam.
We'll see.
I already expect that. But no, here's the Cody thing. The Cody thing, okay, I don't have a problem with that. What I wish they had was
you didn't
build
watch
it up. No,
I was trying not to let you admit that you didn't watch Dynamite. Now you're like, oh, well, let me tell you all about this.
Yes, you did. But what you told me doesn't make sense.
Well,
it doesn't.
Doesn't make sense. If they had, because if you're trying to build Cody as an ultra baby face,
they're not.
What you
well, I mean,
do
they are.
is
Kind of stopped that.
What they've done.
They are now. They are now.
Well, maybe when he comes
What
back.
you told me because you said the highlight.
But
he might have,
hey,
from
we'll
what I've been
have.
told, from what you told me, the highlight he had concussion.
We'll have plenty of time to discuss that on the next.
Oh, he's hurt.
On the next show.
I mean, they've been building up Cody's
Okay.
Real fast. I just want to say it could have. Show, don't tell. Show him getting beaten up. Show him coming throughout the night. They're telling him not to wrestle tonight. Don't do it. Him saying, "I got to do it. That's what I got to do. I got to do what I got to do." Get squashed. They carry him out on the stretch. He gets beat up. Dark Order takes over. Dark Order looks like ultra evil, ultra face. You win, bam. That's how you do it. That's easy. That's so easy.
We'll see.
That's been done forever.
Over several weeks. It's not just tonight. Like
they've
been telling us Cody's overworked since like the beginning of last month.
Well, no, it's fine. So
and then sell that point. Sell that he's tired. Sell that maybe
they have been. Arn
during the show, they're concerned about it. Man, you've been working so hard
at wrestling like every single week.
So,
but anyway,
then do it.
Emphasize
it during the show. Emphasize it during the show. Did they emphasize it? Did they have him doing vigilance in the back? Well, during this show, the Saturday show, did they do it during the Saturday show?
Every week, Cody Rhodes is like
Saturday show. Don't do it during the They emphasize it during the last of the show. Ramp it up to the point where Anderson was thinking about throwing the towel for him that night. This night. Did they do it this night? Yes or no?
I don't know. No, there was no chance to throw in the towel because he just got his butt beat.
No.
Anyway, this is it because we have more predictions tomorrow night, more reactions tomorrow night. Right now, it is Alex and I have 4 points. James has 3, but we have a lot of difference coming up on night 2 on pretty much all the matches except for like 2. Let's see. We all have Mandy. We all have Cruz. We all have Dominic. We all have Asuka over Sasha. So 4 matches don't matter. So we have.
You chose Bailey.
Right, I did choose Bailey, but I chose Asuka over Sasha. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches with differing opinions. So this still could be anyone.
Still a shot. Well, like I said, if I lose, I'm not fine. I'm fine with it because I don't have a problem. But like I said, I want to win.
Yeah.
So they could hurt me.
So.
Yeah, we'll do reactions there, and
so yeah, I think that'll.
So you want to do our
all right?
Yeah.
But overall takeover. Overall takeover.
Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good.
All right, let's give Takeover a grade. Okay. We'll end it that way. What do you guys think, James? Grade Takeover.
Honestly, I'll give.
Okay, we'll come back to James. Alex, grade Takeover.
I give it.
I'll give it.
Go ahead.
I'll give it a.
James, I'll come back to you in a moment when your internet is not acting up.
Okay.
Alex,
my grade for Takeover is a tuna sandwich out of a block of cheese. No, I give it a B. I give it a B plus. I overall I quite enjoyed it.
B plus player. All right. James, you back? We good?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you're good. All right, you sound better and look better. Your grade for the show?
Yeah, I give it I think I said A minus.
Okay.
Well,
A minus. Okay.
A minus. Like that.
You guys.
It was great. I enjoyed it.
I'm giving it a C plus.
Okay.
I really think there was only one match that was like. There was just so many issues like individually in the storytelling, and the matches were forgettable for me, for the most part, except for the ladder match. Like it felt more like a NXT Wednesday night as opposed to a Takeover, and that may just speak to the quality of NXT as a weekly show. Just wasn't that special of an event for me.
Okay.
So C plus.
Fair point.
Grading
Fair
hard.
Point.
If we have to put
you're the Russian judge.